Danger Dolan. From lost jewels in decades past to mysterious skulls that may explain the origins of man, we count 15 of the rarest treasures you may or may not still be able to find in the world to this day. Number 15. The Amber Room. It was described as the 8th wonder of the world, an 11-foot hall filled with priceless artworks and amber gold-lead-edged mirrors inlaid with precious jewels. It was created for King Friedrich I and later given to Russia's Peter the Great in 1716. Its value? $142 million in today's currency. But in 1941, Nazis assaulted Leningrad and claimed the room, putting it on display at Königsberg Castle. 4 years later, when Königsberg surrendered, the room vanished. Was it destroyed? Hidden? Where is it today? No one knows. Number 14. The Alamo Treasure, San Antonio, the famous American battle of 188 men, including Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett, attempting to fight off a Mexican army from Santa Anna. It was believed that in order to wage this revolution against Mexico, the Texans brought millions of dollars worth of treasure in order to fund their own army. However, all 188 men were killed at the Alamo, and knowledge of the treasure was lost. Theories suggest it was buried beneath the battle compound, but excavations revealed nothing. Nobody knows where this treasure lies today. Number 13. King John's Lost Crown Jewels. The 1200s, King John liked collecting and stealing priceless items of jewelry and gold for both himself, his guards and soldiers. On the 9th of October 1216, John travelled to Norfolk, but halfway across the marshes he grew ill with dysentery, so he returned to Newark Castle on a longer, safer road. His treasure, on the other hand, it took a shorter, more dangerous road through the marshes, but it got trapped by the rising tide and drowned, forever lost, and John died not 10 days later. The $70 million collection of jewels was never found. Number 12. The Peking Man, a famous historical and archaeological find in the early 1930s. The only evidence of Homo erectus pekinensis at the time, a type of proto-human from 780,000 years ago. During World War II, it and many other priceless ancient human bones were shipped to the United States via boat, but it never reached its destination. It was assumed the boat had been sunk in 1945, with all the treasures still lying somewhere on the ocean floor. Thankfully, 4 of the teeth made it to the Paleontological Museum of Uppsala University. Number 11. The Barbra Dimes. This one is famous among coin collectors. It's considered to be the rarest coin in American history, even though over 4 million of them were made. The story goes, when the shipment was being delivered from Phoenix to Colorado, treasure hunters accidentally tipped the wagon train into the Black Canyon, leaving only a dozen currently left in existence. Whoever finds the coins will find themselves in wealth exceeding $3 million. Number 10. The White Shadow. One of Alfred Hitchcock's earliest films, titled The White Shadow. It took him a lot of effort to produce. He himself was the writer, director, set designer, and editor. Unfortunately, at the time, it bombed at the box office, and all known copies began to disappear. But in 2011, half the film showed up in New Zealand. An old collector had set aside some old copies and never destroyed them, and it was only after his grandson donated the copies to the film archive that they made their reappearance. However, the film's final half still remains missing, and copies could still be out there somewhere. Number 9. Blackbeard's Treasure. Everyone has heard about the story of the famous pirate Blackbeard, but you may be surprised to find out his treasure is very much real and very much still up for grabs. In the 2 years between 1716 and 1718, Blackbeard raided heaps of ships sailing to Spain, and he developed a foreboding reputation because of it. In 1718, he was decapitated by a British lieutenant, Robert Maynard, and all knowledge of the buried treasure's whereabouts were lost. In 1996, what was believed to be Blackbeard's ruined ship was discovered near North Carolina, but the loot remains unfound. If you are planning to look for it, I suggest the Caribbean islands, Virginia's Chesapeake Lake, and the Cayman Island Caves. Number 8. The Mobsters Treasure. Dutch Schultz was deep in the mob scene of 1930s America, and from it, he amassed a large fortune of wealth. Since he was hunted by law enforcement, he elected to keep his treasure hidden in what was believed to be the Catskill mountain range. Then, in 1935, Schultz was gunned down and the treasure lost. Current estimates put it at around $5 to $10 million up for grabs in Phoenicia, New York, although most believe floods would have washed it all away over time. Number 7. The Missing Golden Eggs, 1885, Russia. Tsar Alexander, third in the House of Romanov, commissioned the production of golden hen eggs for his wife Empress Maria. The manufacturer, Peter Carl Fabergé, famous for his work on quality and beauty, spent the next 33 years creating over 50 eggs. Then in 1917, the Russian Revolution executed the royal family, and Peter, fearing for his life, fled the country. The eggs were stored in the Kremlin armory, and some were sold to fund the new regime. 8 of the original eggs are now missing, their whereabouts unknown. Still out there somewhere, each egg worth over $100 million. Number 6. The Secret City of Paititi. This is a story in the vein of El Dorado, an Inca city full of treasure lost with time. It was the Spanish conquistadors that drove the Inca civilization deep into the rainforests, but not before they could haul their treasures with them. So even after the Spanish claimed Paititi, it was abandoned and worthless, and the treasure was never found. In Google Earth, it is shown in Brazil that there were indeed what appears to be Inca cities in the depths of the Brazilian rainforest, and the gold may still be hidden where modern man has never tread. Number 5. The Lost Dutchman Mine. The famous gold rush in the late 19th century was full of secrets, and rightly so, since if word got out you discovered a bedrock full of gold, then everyone would come swarming. Arizona, the Superstition Mountains. German immigrant Jacob Waltz discovered a massive cache of gold which led him to become very wealthy until his death in the late 1800s. Thousands, tens of thousands of miners searched far and wide for the location of his fabled mine, but nobody found it. It's highly possible it's still there to this day, just waiting to be excavated once again. Number 4. Leon Chubacas gold, 1930s, United States in the Great Depression, dollar value at an all-time low and gold quickly on the rise. Mexican millionaire Leon Chubacas and his partners stashed over 16 tons of gold and hid it in the New Mexico desert, waiting for gold prices to peak on the market. Then something unexpected happened. The Gold Act was introduced prohibiting the private ownership of gold, which left Leon and his partners with a large stack of worthlessness. Once he and his partners died, the gold's whereabouts was lost, but still out there somewhere, likely buried next to the E.T. game cartridges. Number 3. The Oak Island Money Pit, 1500 AD. Oak Island off the southeast coast of Nova Scotia. 1795. Some kids find a circular depression in the ground, and as they dug, it was revealed traces of pickaxes and planks, as if someone had gone deep underground and then hurriedly filled it back in. Over the centuries, the rumor grew pirates like Captain Kidd and Blackbeard might have dumped their treasure in this spot, and they even found an inscription on a stone that read, 40 feet below, 2 million pounds lie buried. But after many years of digging down 72 meters, nothing has been found so far, and it's led to the deaths of 6 people. Number 2. The Treasures of Lima, Cocos Island, 17th and 18th century. Europeans continually plundered South America and stored treasures in Lima, Peru. But then the Peruvian War forced everyone out in 1820, and the treasure passed into the hands of Captain William Thompson, who decided to enter the plundering business. He buried the treasure just off Costa Rica, but it wasn't specified where, and nobody knows where to look, so the treasure remains hidden to this day. Number 1. The Ark of the Covenant, the ornate chest designed by God himself to house 2 stone tablets, the 10 Commandments. 607 BC Jerusalem, Solomon's Temple. It was besieged and overthrown by the Babylonians, leading to over 1 million deaths and 70 years of exile for the survivors. When they returned, the Ark was gone. It was either kept hidden during the Babylonian assault and the secret location lost due to how many were slaughtered, or it was destroyed. Where is it now? Does it even exist? Nobody knows, except for Indiana Jones. That is it for this countdown. Have a good one.